CCTV footage shows a car backing up to this house's parking lot, and seemingly nothing out of the ordinary is happening. We quickly realize the horrifying nature of this encounter, though, as we see masked men exit the vehicle prowling the house. Motion sensors placed around the property immediately detect the unusual activity outside, notifying the residents inside. The would-be burglars can be seen scouting the area, looking for a good spot to enter, when all of a sudden, their plans get interrupted. The residents get lucky, as a simple warning manages to scare the robbers. Increased boldness, perceived lack of consequences, and societal changes may contribute to daytime crime occurrences. Sadly, this is getting more common as other people's struggles become worse, leaving them no choice but to be desperate and do this. People around the robbery are unable to do anything else but document the encounter while desperately calling for the cops. Realizing the urgency of what they're doing, the robbers seem to move at double speed while breaking in and stealing the store merchandise. The video ends with the robbers rushing to leave the scene after getting what they want. Malls are often considered safe due to security presence, controlled environment, and diverse amenities for all visitors. But sometimes, criminals, gangs, and unruly people find a way to ruin the mall experience, as in this video. Staff in the establishment try to control the chaos, but to no avail, as the group continues wreaking havoc in the establishment. The video cuts short, but let's hope that no one got hurt during that altercation. Criminals will often go out of their way to hide their business to lessen the risk of getting arrested. For this gang, recording themselves committing crimes seems to be part of their signature. The owner is unable to do anything as it is too late to stop the car thief from getting into his car. The thief's friends and fellow criminals laugh while recording the whole crime being committed in broad daylight. That's how you get a go far. If this ever happens to you, you're better off compiling all the evidence you can for the police, rather than chasing the criminals by yourself. If these criminals are crazy enough to record and upload this, who knows what else they're willing to do? We've seen criminals utilizing heavy machinery to steal from banks, but surely that method is uncommon, right? You'd think that the loud sounds and the visibility would repulse criminals, but think again after watching this video. Backup arrives during the preparation, and they get into positions while finally ramming the forklift inside the store to gain entry. The driver of the forklift backs up, charging up for another hit, when all of a sudden, their plans get foiled when this suddenly happens. The criminals then drive away, leading law enforcement to chase them. Phone shops are often robbed due to the high value, easy portability, and quick resale potential of devices. This video shows this exact scene as we see a group of criminals forcefully breaking the phone store's glass door to enter. After successfully breaking the door, the robbers waste no time in entering the store, taking everything they can fit inside their bags. If you see criminals robbing a store, immediately call the police, stay safe, and avoid confrontation. It seems like no one was inside during this robbery, which is good. It's night, and something terrible is happening inside this Z&Co store. At first, all you will hear is the sound of the siren and nothing more. But after a while, we realized why the siren went off. Out of the store comes a thug who has broken in to steal. At first, it looks like he is alone, but then he returns to pick a tool, and we get another surprise. Another thug comes out of the store. They carry their tools and their loot. They stash it in the car's boot and get in the car as they drive into the night. It's a bustling day outside the cafe, and it's about to get even busier. An older man is attempting to park his Brompton bike securely, unaware that someone is watching him and his bike closely. Some thugs are already waiting to steal the man's bike. In a split moment, they make their move to the bike. They have done this a million times and thought it would be easy, but they were in for a surprise. The owner grabbed his bike with everything and struggled to keep it. This surprised the thugs as they abandoned the motorcycle altogether and zoomed off. On a bright day in a quiet neighborhood, a dark event unfolds. A burglar attempts to enter a house through a window using tools to pry it open. After making a gap, he retreats to the fence's edge, pausing briefly before something unexpected occurs. Another burglar leaps over the wall. The second guy gets to the window and works another wonder. This second burglar breaks the window completely open. The first guy stands watch while the second gets into the house to loot it. Criminals often rob at night for reduced visibility, fewer witnesses, and increased cover of darkness. These days, though, things seem to be different. They now rob whenever they feel like it.
Oh my God.
Oh my, don't hold, John.
I'm not going.
Because that car's going to pull out, John. Don't
Shut up.
might have guns.
Oh, they got it.
Criminals nowadays rob in broad daylight due to increased confidence, reduced fear of immediate capture, and perception that surveillance or security measures are weaker during daytime. The trend also reflects greater audacity and a shift in criminal behavior patterns. A group of teenagers can be seen entering a store nonchalantly, as another one already inside records them doing so. After entering the store, the teens then grab Coke bottles from the freezer calmly when they suddenly decide to do something shocking. After watching what just happened, we can now confirm that whoever was recording these teenagers was surely part of the robbery. Why would anyone risk their future like this just to get a couple of soft drinks? This next video gets us straight into the action when a truck is rammed into a jewelry store in this smash and grab heist. After creating an opening, a man comes out of the truck with a bandana covering his face. He realizes that the store would close on him if nothing were holding the opening, and he then begins to do this. After parking the car to secure an exit, the man hurriedly smashes the glass boxes filled with jewelry. Grabbing what he can, he quickly leaves the scene, escaping with the valuable loot before anyone can react. The criminal was hard to track, as the vehicle he used was stolen. In a somewhat surprising scene, something scary is happening. These two gang members are admiring a bicycle parked in a public space. Suddenly, their real intentions are revealed by the next move they take.
That's my bike! That's my bike!
One brings out a little electric saw and starts cutting off the chains securing the bike. It becomes apparent to all that they are trying to steal the bike. Instantly, the owner of the motorcycle challenges them, screaming, but this has little effect as the boys take the bike and one of them cycles away on it.
Bad man!
Tonight in Kingston upon Thames, a sinister scene unfolds. 3 gang members dismount their bikes outside a residence as the neighborhood sleeps. They examine one of the bikes, but a passing car grabs their attention, prompting them to retreat and wait. After the car leaves, they come again and try to cut the bike free using angle grinders. Then, something happens. The owners open the window and scare the boys away. The boys retreat and leave on their bikes. Despite the dangers, crimes will always intrigue people, which often leads to crowds forming around crime scenes. In this video, we see a bunch of passers-by and residents stopping in their tracks and leaving their homes to witness this scene. The video shows a large group of criminals gathering around a store and preparing to conduct a heist using a dangerous method. People around the area then watch closely as they wait for the group's next move, which is nothing short of shocking. Unfortunately, the clip ends abruptly, leaving us guessing what happened next. Imagine just trying to peacefully eat at a restaurant when you suddenly hear a commotion coming from outside. You decide to ignore it at first, but later find yourself unable to resist looking out the window, only to see this.
Knife hai, kuch hai? Hi there, someone is stealing my bike in front of me on Rampa Road. Please, please, please.
The people witnessing the live crime happening in front of them rush to call the authorities in an attempt to foil the thievery. A man can be heard informing another person through the phone about the disturbing thing happening in front of him.
Yeah, it's Rampa Road. Come.
Unfortunately, it's too late as the thieves escape with the stolen motorcycle. Store alarms and people freaking out noise the streets of this commercial area after criminals decided to do this. Unable to do anything, people around the victim's store record the robbery to capture evidence of the crime. Despite this, the robbers ignore everyone around them and focus on their task of cleaning the whole place out. The cops are still not in the picture despite the break-in, which is already a couple of minutes in the process. Because of this, the civilians become more angry and impatient as valuable seconds go by, leading them to do this. Despite their best efforts, the criminals still manage to escape the scene. What was supposed to be a quiet night for the residents of this town suddenly becomes the opposite after they get woken up by the sounds of machinery from outside. Trying to see where it's coming from, one resident looks out their window to see this. The criminals can be seen using a bulldozer to steal from a local bank down the street. Their way of stealing may be unusual, but it is undoubtedly effective and creative. After breaking the foundation, the criminals then load the whole ATM to the bulldozer claw, driving off immediately after the fact. At least no civilian was outside during this very dangerous robbery. At the beginning of the video, you can see a masked man dressed heavily parking his Surrey in front of a store next to another one. A Surrey is an electric off-road bike known for its lightweight, powerful performance and versatility. The common stereotype is that Surrey e-bike users are reckless, disruptive, and often disregard traffic laws. This is the reason why cops often bother or arrest people using these bikes, which is what happens in this encounter. The men, knowing they're going to be bothered by the police, immediately flee the area. The footage shows a red Ford Fiesta approaching. A passenger exits, unsuccessfully tries to open a locked van, and they drive away. Moments later, the red car reappears as the van's driver returns to the vehicle. Seconds later, the van driver departs, locking the doors. Afterward, the red car returns. The passenger in a grey cap and dark clothing exits and approaches the transit van, unsuccessfully trying to open the locked door again. He first scouts the area to see if someone is nearby, then looks out the window. He finally does this after seeing that nobody is watching him. The van thief immediately drives away, following his accomplice in the red car. This incident occurred in a shop involving a moped rider. A masked gang member sits on a blue scooter in front of the store and uses his horn nervously. His accomplice seems to be operating inside the store. They're calling someone. Suddenly, it goes awry for the gang members.
He's stealing all the cigarettes.
A man comes in and intervenes. He deals with the gang members robbing inside. The culprit runs out, dropping the loot. He gets on the scooter, but it doesn't start. The gang member on the scooter comes off and tries to get it working so they can run away. It's a public square where bikes are parked, and something is about to go wrong. This bold criminal is using a chainsaw to break into an electric bike, fully aware that onlookers are recording him. Knowing that no one would dare confront someone wielding a chainsaw and potentially armed with a knife, he continues confidently. When the chains are broken, he prepares to leave with the bike. After all, no one is there to stop him. It is a rather bizarre and unbelievable scene at this grocery store.
Look at all that. Here it comes.
It seems to be raining groceries for these thugs who have forcefully filled their carts and are now filling their cars. They did not pay a dime for the groceries, but were loading them in their vehicle. It looks like one car at first, but then you discover more.
Ha! Don't! You're gonna get fired. That's why prices go up, because of these. Can't get.
Behind the first car is a second one. This time, one of the thugs loading it is a female. It really can't get worse than this on these streets. In a dramatic moment of bravery, an office worker in London confronted a machete-wielding robber caught on camera during a daring robbery. After the heist, the robbers tried to flee the scene on 2 mopeds. A police car arrived and attempted to block their escape. One officer gave chase on foot while the robbers sped away. As the gang made their escape, an office worker bravely ran towards the machete-wielding robber. The office worker leaped onto the robber's back, grabbing him by the neck in an attempt to stop him. Despite his brave effort, the robber managed to break free and flee the scene. In the tranquil streets of northwest London, an attempted armed robbery was thwarted thanks to modern technology and quick-thinking homeowners. Captured on a Ring camera, armed criminals were seen arriving at their target house and parking their vehicle discreetly. Wearing hoodies to hide their faces, the robbers approached the front of the house, ready to execute their plan. The Ring camera's motion detection system alerted the homeowners. The homeowners, now aware of the intruders, quickly called the police and made their presence known to the would-be robbers. Realizing they were detected, the robbers fled the scene. A quiet night in the neighborhood suddenly gets interrupted by sounds of glass breaking and revving engines noise the streets. Residents in the area may think that this was a car crash, but little did they know that what happened was far more terrible. Luckily, everything that happened to the store, which criminals targeted, was captured clearly on CCTV placed around the store. The break-in and the stealing get recorded as the criminals continue to do their thing inside the store. Nowadays, even the threat of CCTV guarding the place seems to be useless. A couple walking in Camden during a normal day suddenly gets put in danger after an unexpected encounter. While out on their regular walk, they find themselves on the floor in an instant after two men decide to do this. The couple, too weak and stunned by the sudden attack, are unable to do anything as the men steal the man's expensive watch. Wearing expensive jewelry is risky due to increased chances of theft, mugging, and attracting unwanted attention. Unfortunately, the men recorded in the video are still unidentified. Store owners will often use glass walls to allow their products to be displayed and be seen by customers to tempt them. Unfortunately, this same tactic works with criminals, as you can see in this terrifying robbery. The criminals fail to break the glass wall in their ram raid attempt, leading them to try more desperate measures like breaking it using sledgehammers. The thieves can be seen still having a hard time breaking the reinforced glass, which ends up in them getting caught. Massively outnumbering the lone cop trying to stop them, they decide to gang up on him, leaving the police officer no choice but to retreat. They also make the wise decision to retreat, anticipating more to arrive.
They ain't going with that.
Can't go anywhere, just stop the cat. What? Not the cat cracks and everything.
With the reduced police action to respond to these gangs and criminal groups, who knows what will happen in the future? The video ends with the robbers successfully escaping before law enforcement arrives. Store lockdowns are effective in deterring robbers, reducing access, and allowing time for police to arrive. This, fortunately, becomes the reality of these would-be smash-and-grab criminals after they get locked inside this jewelry store. This results in the criminals unable to leave the store as the cops arrive at the scene, waiting for the criminals to come out. This proves to be a daunting task, as even firefighters have a hard time gaining entrance to the store. At least the store owner picked the right glass to install for his store. In a rather scary scene in Nottinghamshire, these 10 gang members try to break into a house. The boys batter the doors with their legs, trying to force it open. After ramming at the door a few more times, the door opens up. What follows this is instead a surprising scene. The owner of the house attempts to prevent the boys from entering, but they overpower him, forcing him to flee for safety. While some boys chase after him, others seize the opportunity to break into the house and ransack it. What was a regular day is about to get chaotic. These thugs pull up at a jewelry store with knives and other deadly tools. Some go inside to loot the store, while others wait outside on scooters. Some people call the police immediately to inform them about the robbery.
Hello? Burglary at
The next moments that follow are nothing short of chaos.
Maidavale Road, Amir Jewelry. Quickly, they have a knife. Yes, they went inside, they have a knife, they're attacking people.
The robbers run out of the store, followed by some workers and other well-meaning people trying to catch them. While many escape in this instance, one is caught and handed over to the police. This leads to the arrest of the remaining gang members. It's a rather scary scene at an iPhone store in London. This thug is just taking every iPhone on display. He goes from table to table, taking the phones and putting them into his pocket. All the people in the shops keep a distance from him, fearing he might have a weapon. When the thug has taken as many phones as he can carry, he does something weird. He runs out of the store with all the phones and enters his car. He gets in and speeds off, leaving everyone in disarray. Something sinister is happening here.
Is it your bike? Is that your bike?
Two gang members are stealing a bike. One uses a grinder wheel to free the bike, while the other watches. A man interrupts the boys by asking if it was their bike. The boy working ignores him and finishes the job. Then something more shocking happens.
Camera.
The boy gets on the bike before the few onlookers and drives off without stopping. By the time the bike owner would be back crying, the boy would be somewhere riding into the sunset. In a jewelry store in London, something sinister is happening.
Oh my God. Move away from him. Move away. Hammer. Move away.
A lone thug wielding a hammer breaks into a store, shattering the glass. While some bystanders attempt to intervene, others urge them to keep their distance. Witnesses quickly alert the police to the unfolding crime. After looting the shop, the next phase of the surprise occurs.
Oh my God. Move away from him. Move away.
He walks through all of the people who were present without getting stopped. He walks away still speaking threatening words to the people. It is unclear whether he ever got caught.
He's got watches and he's got a knife. Watches now. Right.
Recording a robbery that is currently occurring is often frowned upon, but for this brave civilian, nothing will stop her from protecting her community. After seeing the robbers threaten the store clerk, she immediately confronts the robbers and records them in the act.
Daddy, I'm gonna call the police now.
The criminals decide to ignore her, choosing not to risk losing valuable time. Because of the woman's bravery, more civilians gather around the robbery, and one of them eventually decides to do this.
Daddy, just leave. Stay back till he goes.
This interference causes the thieves to be delayed as the clerk manages to pull the alarm, breaking the criminals' resolve.
Daddy, just leave. Stay back till he goes. Daddy, leave it.
Failing to start their getaway scooter, they run embarrassingly away from the crime scene. The scene at this Kingsland store is quite disheartening. This jeweler is fighting for his money and his life as he faces a gang of thugs who are trying to raid his store in broad daylight. The jeweler holds his ground and resists the thugs as much as possible. The thugs throw things at the jeweler to distract him, but he remains unfazed. The thugs change the angle of attack and try to get the jeweler to back down, but he has some help from a fellow, which gives him some advantage. This driver is so stunned by what is going on that he has to stop his car and interfere. These two gang members are trying to steal a motorbike, but no one is stopping them. This driver tries to threaten them to stop, but the boys are adamant as they are holding some deadly tools. The driver attempts to call the police, but they take a long time to arrive.
I can't get a clear picture of their face. There's no number plate on their pet.
The driver decides to wait to see what will happen eventually. That's when the unexpected happens.
Average 22 bikes a day in London alone being stolen.
Look. Oh!
Culprits are almost getting away when two guys from nowhere intervene and stop them. It's a rather funny sight in front of a Selfridge store.
Why not?
The guards are trying to handle this young culprit caught stealing from their store. The culprit knows he is headed to jail, so he commits an act. He starts screaming, which makes it difficult for the security men to handle him. When he sees things won't go his way, he plays a wild card act. He falls to the ground and begins to scream for help. Some passers-by stop to intervene in the matter, but when they realize it is a case of theft, they allow the security men to do their job. These two thugs have stolen a moped and are trying to get away with it.
You just nicked it off that house.
Oh, it's already been broke. It's been there for years.
It's 21 plate.
Yeah,
what are you lying for? Yeah, they just stole this.
They are arguing with the bike owners, who are afraid to engage with the thugs. When they finally start the motorbike, they try to escape, but something unprecedented happens.
Call the police.
They drive the bike straight at a blue car and crash into it. One of the thieves gets away with the bike while the other is left stranded. By the look of things, he seems to have broken his thumb and is asking the onlookers to call an ambulance instead of the police.
They call the police. Call the police. Call the police. They just robbed that bike.
The police later confirmed the bike was stolen. It's night in London, and these two thugs are on a moped, awaiting the traffic light to change. Unknown to them, the car behind them is recording the whole scene. When the traffic light changes, these two moped thugs swing into action. They go straight at a person just standing at the roadside and try to snatch their phones out of their hand. However, things go differently than they planned. The phone falls off the owner and onto the floor. The moped thugs just drive away in frustration at their failed theft attempt. They take a bend and disappear into the night. It is a night scene at Knightsbridge. These moped thugs pull up at a traffic light and patiently wait for the light to turn green.
Why are they coming out doing laps?
Unknown to everyone, these thieves already have a clear plan for what they want to do. Just before the traffic light turns green, the thieves swing into action. One of the assailants dismounts the bike and approaches their intended victim. Spotting the threat, the man tries to flee but stumbles, allowing the thugs to catch up. They swiftly rob him and then speed away on their bike, disappearing into the night as shown in the video. Smash and grab robberies involve quickly breaking into a store, stealing valuables, and fleeing rapidly to avoid capture. In this video, we see this scheme in action as a car pulls up near this store door, which eventually leads to this happening. After gaining access inside the store, they immediately get to work robbing the place, while also threatening the people inside. The store clerk, unable to resist, decides to give them access to the cash register to avoid trouble. The criminals swiftly leave the scene, avoiding the cops, who are too late. A store owner finds himself stunned after he enters his store only to see the place ransacked and inventory missing. He quickly checks the CCTV footage, which explains what happened to his store while he was away. The criminals mercilessly ransack the store, taking everything they can, the locks unable to stop their thieving spree. To avoid store robberies, use security cameras, install alarms, employ guards, and secure entrances properly. Fortunately, no one was inside the store during the robbery, and it could have been worse. In the dead of night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a surveillance camera captures a crime happening in a cell phone store. Multiple men can be seen entering the store by breaking the glass door. As they come in one by one, you'd expect only to see a couple of them, but they just keep on coming, and then the group does this. Thieves can swipe high-end smartphones, cutting-edge tablets, pricey accessories, and even personal customer data in cell phone stores, making these hotspots for quick, lucrative heists. It is unclear how much the group got from this smash and grab operation, but they are now wanted. During the night on a street in Leeds, UK, two suspicious individuals can be seen trying to scope out and even trying to enter this cell phone store. All of the action is captured on a high-positioned camera just over the street, where we see the criminals successfully getting into the store. They even wear hoodies to hide their identities during the heist. Unfortunately, due to the angle of the camera, we are left with our imaginations as to what happened inside the store, and we are unable to know who was inside or what they stole during all this. The video abruptly ends, with not much of a clear shot of the hooded criminals. It is a somewhat crazy scene at this London jewellery store.
Watches. There's a robbery in the watches, yeah?
In a rather frenzy state, thugs run out of this jewellery store to escape the shop owners. Two of the members quickly get on their scooters and escape. One of the members of this gang falls off his scooter and attempts to run. He takes to his heels as the shop owners chase him.
Watches. There's a robbery in the watches, yeah?
You can see on the shop owner's face that these thugs have taken quite a lot and must be caught. However, it remains to be seen whether the police got these guys. It was all quiet around Harrow Wealdstone until this gang got there. What they were trying to do wasn't clear at first. Then, they all swung into action. They toppled a cash point machine and detached it from the building. If that wasn't enough, they brought a tractor and tried to lift the cash point into a truck. After a few trials, they were successful. They moved the tractor away, and the van sped off with the cash point. The other gang members equally got into cars and followed the van as they all disappeared into the night. That's quite some heist. These 3 bikes parade on this street and circle while shouting. It needs to be made clear while they do what they are doing, but suddenly, the reason becomes apparent. Three more guys run out of a jewelry store with loot while brandishing weapons. The guys on the bikes let them get on their bikes and they drive away. It wasn't a carnival after all. It was a robbery case, and these thugs had just charted away with pearls from a jewelry store. The jewelry store involved must have lost a fortune. It's a somewhat crazy scene in front of this store in Norwich. These thugs on scooters are trying to rob a shop. At first it all seems to be going well for them. They are carrying out their activities and no one interferes with them. After a while they get clumsy and uncoordinated. Some people on the scene noticed this and decided to act. While the thugs were doing their thing, some guys immediately moved and swarmed them up, forcing them to flee the scene. They even left some weapons on the floor as they drove away. It's a rare sight in this video. Initially shocking, seeing the hunter become the hunted becomes more familiar. In this instance, a thug attempting to steal a phone is caught by civilians, a rare occurrence, as bystanders typically do not intervene. The video shows the civilians apprehending him, marking a significant turn of events. The civilians quietly hold him in place until the police arrive. The police come to the scene and take custody of the culprit. They question him before taking him in, but this one is going to jail. It looks like a regular day as this driver cruises around town. However, something weird is about to happen in a split second. The dashcam captures a tense encounter. A cyclist is suddenly approached by a thug on a motorcycle. The cyclist's intentions are unclear, but in a reflexive act, he throws his bicycle at the motorcycle, thwarting the thug's plans. Startled, the thug quickly speeds away. These friends were just trying to drive home when they suddenly heard a loud alarm coming from an area near them. Naturally, they get enticed to check it out, which they quickly regret after they get in the middle of a crime scene. They decide to stop instead of driving away immediately, as they're too scared to risk getting into trouble. In the video, we see the robbers finishing the job and leaving the store on their scooters, but unfortunately for them, this happens. The civilians managed to catch two of the robbers, apprehending them for the police. While shoppers were checking out the Apple store, they were shocked when a group of armed men started to rob the store in broad daylight. Imagine you and your family were on vacation in London when, out of the blue, you were met with strangers with guns pointing at you, forcing you to give up your valuables. In the store, Robbers quickly grabbed phones and personal possessions from shoppers and even managed to evade the overwhelmed security guard, who was unable to stop them. The chaos left the guard and shoppers in a state of shock. It's frightening to think that, as a normal shopper, you may be subject to danger. In this thrilling next clip, a 911 operator receives a call from a jewelry store employee as she explains in terror what is happening at the store.
Norfolk Police Emergency, go ahead.
Quick, you need to come quickly. They're raiding the
What's going on?
They're raiding the jewellers now.
Okay, stay on the line to me, stay on the line.
The thieves planned this heist out as they sport black attire with helmets to cover their identity. They came into the store forcibly, making our 911 caller take cover, for she does not know the nature of these robbers.
Everything.
Is it on London Street?
Yes, you need to come down quickly.
Yeah, stay on the line to me.
Quick, they're going.
Police have released dramatic...
After stealing from the jewelry store, the gang of thieves left via motorcycle, but they were followed by local police enforcement. They couldn't escape as a chopper was on their tail, and it even ended with a foot chase.
Jewelry raid in Norwich and subsequent chase of 6 robbers in August. The gang used axes to smash into the store where they stole Cartier.
Jewelry heists are rare, but attract significant attention due to the high value and dramatic nature of the crimes, often involving meticulous planning. All perpetrators were eventually caught after the heist, and each was sentenced to 37 years. A bystander captures footage showing small-time thugs attempting to steal a big-engine motorbike with numerous witnesses.
Get off, lads. Get off, young. Get off.
Police are on the way, mate.
Get off.
The 2 young criminals are adamant about stealing the motorbike, even with the multiple witnesses capturing a video of them. Their all-black and unrevealing clothing added some confidence.
Come on, get away with that, lad. Stand back. Put yours. Go on, lad.
The witnesses noticeably do not try to interfere near them, as these 2 could have a chance that they are carrying knives in their shirts. As one of them drags the bike, this happens.
They're not going to be able to get it. Lad, go, lad. Get up.
After crashing the bike in the bush, they hurriedly left the scene on their bicycle. In Wirral, a series of burglaries committed by a notorious group has been caught on CCTV. The surveillance camera captures the group forcefully kicking the door of a bank in the middle of the night. Once inside, the robbers waste no time ransacking the place. They methodically open every drawer, searching for cash and valuables. The group searches every room, leaving no corner unchecked. With a keen eye for valuables, the robbers take everything they can find. In the bustling neighborhood of Spark Hill, Birmingham, a brazen daylight robbery has left residents in shock. On Stratford Road, armed robbers targeted Barclays Bank in a daring ram raid. Captured by a bystander's cell phone, the robbers used their vehicle to smash into the bank's entrance. With each impact, glass shattered and debris flew, creating a scene of utter chaos. But suddenly, thick white smoke began to pour out from the site of the break-in. Bystanders, witnessing the unfolding drama, fled in panic as the smoke spread. In a daring daylight theft, 3 robbers were caught stealing a bike, their actions recorded by a shocked bystander.
Hi there, someone is stealing my bike in front of me on Rumper Road. Please.
Captured on a bystander's cell phone, the robbers' faces are hidden by helmets, boldly pushed the bike down the street. Shoppers quickly called the police, reporting the crime and providing real-time updates.
Rumper Road. Come.
Despite witnesses, the robbers continued their escape, determined to get away before authorities arrived. On London Street, Norwich, an attempted robbery unfolds, witnessed by bystanders and caught on camera. A group of robbers are seen forcefully trying to open a jewelry store. The store's alarm blares, alerting the area to the crime in progress. Nearby, two of the robbers are ready on a getaway bike, prepared for a quick escape. Suddenly, a brave bystander steps in, pushing the robber on the bike and attempting to stop the heist. The commotion causes the other robbers to flee. Bystanders quickly join in, chasing the fleeing criminals down the street. In the quiet neighborhood of Harrow Wealdstone, the peace was shattered in the middle of the night by a daring and brazen robbery. A nearby resident captured this shocking video of a group of robbers using a construction vehicle to carry out their heist at a nationwide cash point. The video shows the robbers skillfully operating a construction vehicle, smashing into the nationwide bank. Their target, the cash point. With brute force, they managed to rip the cash point from its secure position, causing significant damage to the building. The robbers quickly loaded the cash machine onto the back of a transport vehicle. After securing their loot, the robbers abandoned the construction vehicle and fled the scene. In a daring daylight robbery, two masked robbers parked their motorcycle outside a local store, unaware they were being watched. Unbeknownst to them, a vigilant police officer spots the suspicious activity. As the officer's vehicle approaches, one of the robbers quickly mounts the bike to flee. The officer initiates pursuit, signaling the other robber to hastily jump on his own bike and join the getaway. With sirens blaring, the police car closes in, attempting to intercept the fleeing robbers. Despite the officer's efforts, the robbers skillfully evade capture, speeding through the busy streets. In the heart of Leeds, a bank robbery has left the city in shock. Glass shattered and debris scattered tell the story of a daring heist. The scene, captured by a bystander's cell phone, reveals the aftermath of the robbers' forceful entry. The robbers, their faces hidden, are seen making their escape with bags full of stolen money. Moving quickly, the robbers load their loot into a waiting getaway vehicle, showing no signs of hesitation. In a matter of seconds, they flee the scene, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a city in fear. London's Oxford Street, known for its vibrant shopping scene, was the unexpected stage for a shocking incident inside the renowned Selfridges store. On what seemed to be an ordinary day, shoppers in Selfridges were met with chaos as a violent altercation broke out, captured on camera by bystanders. Tensions escalated quickly, and what began as a verbal dispute soon turned into a full-blown brawl. Shouts echoed through the store as individuals hurled items and exchanged blows. Amid the chaos, terrified shoppers sought safety, while others attempted to document the unfolding events. The sounds of conflict and fear shattered the store's serene ambience. In broad daylight, a shocking robbery unfolds. Captured on a cell phone camera by the robbers themselves, this footage shows the audacity and thrill of the crime. The video shows an accomplice exiting their vehicle and approaching a parked car with a woman standing nearby. Swiftly, the accomplice forces his way into the woman's car. She rushes to stop him, but it's too late. woman's efforts are in vain as the robber successfully takes control of the vehicle and drives away. Inside the robber's car, the accomplice filming the scene can't contain his excitement, screaming in joy as he watches his partner in crime make a successful getaway. In the dead of night, a daring group of robbers targeted an ATM for a heist. Under the cover of darkness, they arrived with a forklift, ready to snatch the machine. Their operation is abruptly interrupted as a police car pulls up, sirens blaring, catching them off guard. Panicked, the robbers abandon the forklift and scramble into their getaway vehicle. With adrenaline pumping, they speed away into the night, narrowly escaping the law. It's another scary scene on the streets of Leeds. These two rival gangs take to the streets to show their hate for each other. They can be seen swinging axes and machetes at each other on the streets. Onlookers can be heard screaming out of fear. Although no particular casualty is registered, it's a rather frightening scene. The gang members can be seen retreating after the encounter. Some onlookers can be heard telling the gang to calm down.
Calm down, man.
The police later came to the scene to inspect the area and see if any damages had been done. The streets still looked deserted, even after hours. Once again, it's happening in Leeds, and you would not believe your eyes.
But horrible. Oh my God.
A group of thugs are robbing a shop in daylight. They first break down the glass in their way using some complex tools before looting the wares they can get from the store's broken window. What's impressive is the sheer number of people standing and watching them rob the store while doing nothing about it.
Got loads. Put them fill in the bags with it. You never know around when you want it.
Others are just walking past like nothing serious is going on. After a while, the culprits do something fascinating. They pack their loot, get into their car, and drive off. It's an ironic situation as these criminals attempt severe theft.
Which is the bike?
They walk up to places where bikes are parked at Westminster and get on them. The next minute, they start moving away the motorbikes one by one. Some ladies are on the scene and watch as the first thief zooms away. In such instances, people usually stand and look. But this time, something surprising happens.
Which is the bike?
One of the ladies approaches the thieves to confront them. One of them zooms away immediately, but she can stop one of them from zooming off with a motorbike. These two thugs are driving a moped around, but they do not know if he is being followed or videoed by a dash cam. The thugs turn into a street, and what they do next is surprising. One snatches a bag off a woman on the streets, and they drive off immediately. The thugs must have thought they were getting away when something unexpected happened. A brave man heroically intervenes. He knocks one of the thugs off the bike and can retrieve the woman's bag. The thug gets up defeated and immediately runs to his partner on the moped so they can both get away. It is rather unique at this phone store in London.
It's still not coming on.
Get the phone.
It's still not.
These three thugs are trying to steal phones at the store, but it seems it is not going well. They try to get the phones out of the holder but can't. Frustratedly, they kick the phones to get them out of the holder. All of the people in the store are watching the drama in amazement. People are laughing and making fun of these thugs as their plan is not working at all. And to make things worse, many people make videos of their foolery. Of course, they eventually left the place in shame.